friends, and welcome back to my crafty space where I share my memory keeping projects and processes with all of you. If this is your first time here, hello and welcome. My name is Crystal and I am so excited that you are here today. Today I am working on my fifth and final project using the Rest Story Kit from Ali Edwards. This is part of my StoryKitCrush series where we pull out a kit from our stash, an older kit, and do our best to use up the entire kit throughout the course of the month. So, as I said, this is the last one I will be doing. Now, I do not actually have the physical kit. I only have the digital. So I have been finding different ways to turn that digital kit into some really awesome spreads. I will put a link up at the eye to the very first one, just so you guys can see the progression of how these stories have come together. Today, this is going to be on the simpler side. It's going to be a quick process. There's not a lot to it. There is only one it's not even complicated, but it's, a different technique that I will be using. I'm going to create a cut file using one of the digital words on my silhouette. So before we get into assembling this project, I will take you over to the computer to show you how I created the cut file for this project. Then we'll come back over here, I'll get this thing assembled, and then we'll slow back down and close out for the day, and I will let you know what next month's story kit will be. All right, I will meet you guys over at the computer. Okay friends, so we are starting over here on my computer so I can show you guys how I made the cut file that's going to end up being the title piece for my StoryKitCrush project this week. This is the only complicated thing I did. Everything else is pretty easy peasy. I did type up my journaling on my journaling card and printed that out, but let me show you guys how I made this title right here. Ultimately, what this relaxed title is going to be a cut file, and I'm going to back it with vellum. So I did just kind of put another shape back behind it just so I could see what it would look like with vellum. But here is what I did. So this is my original photo that I have cropped down to the page protector size. So this is 6.875 by 8.25. So then what I did is I opened up that relaxed PNG. Now this was originally a wood piece, but when it's the PNG, it's just like an outline that looks like this. So then I went, so I could see, actually, we're not even going to do that. So then what I did is I just selected it all and copied it and then pasted it directly onto my photo. From here, I could go ahead and move it into place and then expand it to the size I want it to be. Now I want it to be almost the full width of the page, a little bit less than, because I am going to hole punch the sides. So once I have it where I like it, I just go ahead and hit the enter button. From here, since I have this sized the way I wanted it, I went ahead and opened up a new 6x4 canvas. Then I could take the layer that's on my photo and copy that layer, paste it onto my 6x4 page here, which I suppose that's good enough. You know what, I might make it, I'm going to make this just a tiny bit smaller. Just a tiny bit smaller. There we go. So I pasted it right here onto my 6x4 canvas, and then I am going to save this as a PNG. So we're going to hit the save button, and then we're just going to save it as a PNG, which I have mine right here. I just labeled it cut file relax. So once I had that done, then I could open up my silhouette program. So let's get that opening. And in the meantime, I'm going to show you what I did to turn it, to make the piece on the page look like vellum. So for that, what I did is I used the hue and saturation adjustment and I moved it all the way up to white. That's how I turned it white here, and then I just merged those layers together. So now this is actually white instead of black, which is what it's going to be in the end anyway, because I'm going to cut it out of white cardstock. But so let's just do this real quick. Let's see if that's good. Okay, so there's my title. Then what I did is I went back to the original file here, grabbed my paint can, and painted the inside white as well. So now the whole thing is white. Then I could copy and paste this onto the spread again, And all I did was just line it up so it's the same size as the one underneath it, just like this. I put the original layer on top, and then that new one, I put the opacity down to like less than that, to like 50%. So then that's going to give me that look of vellum, and I can see what this is going to look like when I get it backed and put onto this picture. Now let's go back over to Silhouette. What we're going to do here is open up that PNG file, which is this one right here. So relax, cut file, PNG, hit OK. The reason we want it to be a PNG is because when it opens in Silhouette, it's going to open at the exact size that we had it at earlier. Next, I'm going to go to my trace tool. It looks like a little butterfly over on the right sidebar. Then I will hit select trace area, and I'm just going to draw a box. I'm just going to draw a box around the word, just like that. Now it's going to highlight yellow anything that it will trace. Then I'm going to come over to the trace side over here and hit trace. And then I can delete my original file. Now, when I zoom in on this, the lines here are super tiny, like super duper, tiny. Okay, what is happening right now? Let's go back over there. Okay, so these lines are really tiny, and I actually was worried that it would be too small. So what I did is I selected my file and I went down to this star that's got an outline on it, and this is going to let me draw an offset. So with the file selected, I hit the offset button, and then I put mine, I want to say to like 0.02, maybe. Let's see what that looks like. Yes, 0.02. I could probably do 0.02. Nope, 0.025. Okay, so let's do that. And then we're going to hit apply. So now that I have the offset on there, I can grab that original file and delete it. Now you can see that my lines are quite a bit thicker, and that is good. So now when I cut this out of my white cardstock, I can feel assured that my lines are thick enough that I'm not going to tear them. And I've also got enough space to add glue and adhesive and back it with that vellum. So from here, I just went ahead and sent this to my Silhouette to cut it out. And then that was pretty much it. So that is how I got this title on here. I've got, a last glimpse at the full spread. And now I'm going to meet you back over at my craft table to put this page together for the week. Okay, so back at my desk now, we're going to go ahead and set everything to the side except for the enlarged photo. The first thing I want to do here is get the holes punched. Now I just have like a template that I created so I can easily line up those holes without using page protectors and that sort of thing. It just works out easier for me. Anyway, I wanted to get those holes punched so that when I put this title onto the picture, I know that I'm not going to hole punch the title itself. So I am going to pull out all of the little bits and pieces that go to the title itself. I did keep the inside portion, so I'm going to use the outline and I will glue that down onto the vellum, but I kept the inside pieces or piece so I could figure out where the little tiny outline pieces will go. Then I grabbed my Tombow Mono liquid adhesive. I super love using this adhesive with cut files because it doesn't dry super quickly. It's kind of tacky, so it gives you some time before you need to actually stick it down. So I just kind of dabbed little dots all the way around that cut file and then went ahead and adhered it down onto some vellum. Then you can see I'll put that inside piece back in the cut file and use that to position the little bits and pieces inside of the words. So like the part in the A and the E, and then there's two parts for the R. This is a trick. I forget where I first saw this, but it works out perfectly when you're working with cut files like this. Once I get all of those bits and pieces adhered down, then I will go about cutting the cut file out, or trimming around the excess. So another great reason why I like that Tombow Mono liquid adhesive is because, again, since it doesn't dry super quickly, it's tacky enough that it sticks, but it also gives you some time where you can trim around it and it's still malleable. And so, if you make a mistake or if you need to get a little bit of extra cut out, you totally can. It works out very nicely. So, so we'll get this piece in there and then we will trim out the word. Now, when I was trimming this out, at first, you'll see that I leave the little inside pieces of the vellum in there. Like I debated whether or not to cut out the sections of the word, and ultimately I decide to just go for it. So I go into my stash and I find a push pin, which is my favorite way of poking little holes so I can get a little section started for cutting. So I'll grab a push pin and I'll just punch a hole in each of those sections and then use my Cutter Bee precision scissors to finish trimming out those little pieces. So there I am, like holding it up there and trying to decide if I'm going to do it. I honestly was worried that if I messed it up, then I would have to restart the entire thing. But it ended up being perfect. And I'm really glad that I did decide to just go for it and cut those pieces out. I think that it gives the whole cut file just a little bit bolder of a look. It pops off the page better. Anyway, so I will trim that out and then we'll get the whole cut file adhered down onto the photo. So what I'll do is flip it over and then right on the section where the white is, I will add some more glue and then stick it to the photo. I don't put the glue where the vellum is, where you can see through on the vellum, because if I did, you totally would be able to see the glue underneath. So I only put it on the edges. I will also say, while I'm working on this title, that I'm really glad I did that offset, because it definitely would have been too thin if I didn't. So that was a good call. Now, the last couple of things I'm going to do with this spread are date stamp my journaling, and I will create my faux chipboard by using some recycled cardboard and the pieces that I cut out from the kit. While I do that, let me go ahead and read you my journaling for this last project. So the title is Finding Peace in the Chaos. I said, here's some real life for you, a moment of truth. Sometimes I have a really hard time tearing myself away from the to-do lists and tasks at hand to spend quality time with you. Sometimes I prioritize my projects or my chores or my need for alone time over time with you. I know I shouldn't, and I always feel guilty at the end of the day when it happens, but still, it happens. That's why this weekend meant so much to me. While we are still social distancing and staying at home, the decision to make the best of it and enjoy a family camping weekend in our background was just what we all needed. A time to take a step away from the chaos of everyday life and to find peace in this time together. It was energizing and full of laughter. I loved seeing how excited you were to sleep in a tent for the first time. I loved watching you, my little child of the forest, playing with your brother and Ryan, running wild with your hair in a tangled mess. I loved seeing the joy on your face as we spent the whole weekend at a deliciously slow pace, soaking up all the time together that we could. So this is a spread that will go into my daughter's album. So that is like a little letter journaling bit that I wrote specifically to her. Now, once I get these last two pieces adhered down onto the photo, that is going to complete this spread for today. So I will go ahead and slow you guys back down. All right, friends, that finishes this spread for today, and I think it came out really, really nice. Sometimes I love the spreads that are a little simpler and less interactive when they focus on the photos and the story, and they just, I don't know, I love it. I love how this title came out. I think it's super bold. It's a great impact, and just having the opportunity to tell this story was really fantastic. Thank you guys so much for following along this month with the Rest Story Kit. I am super excited to announce that next month we will be crushing the Home Story Kit. So if you have that kit, pull it out of your archives and let's crush that kit together. If you don't, that's okay. Just pull out any kit that you would like to try working through in the month of June and participate in StoryKitCrush right alongside. If you do, crush a kit in the month of June, make sure you hashtag it StoryKitCrush so I can see what you are working on. I love following along with your guys' projects. I know I can't wait to break into the home story kit and get some more stories told next month. If you guys liked this video, give it a thumbs up down below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can see all of my future crafty videos. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments section, and let me know if you're planning to play along next month. All right, you guys, until next time, I hope you have a great rest of your Friday, and I will catch you all in the next video. Bye now.